I'm Gökhan Karakuş. I'm an architectural historian, theorist, designer with a background in architectural technologies, and presently I'm working on ecology in architecture. I've been working in these areas for, let's say, about 30 years. I was getting a PhD at Columbia University in New York on architectural history and theory, on the history of architectural theory, let's say. And my concentration areas really have to do with who I am personally. I was born in Turkey, but then I grew up in the United States. So I'm always kind of interested in local conditions, because I grew up in very much local environment here in Turkey, vernacular architecture, specifically in a more regional setting. I was born in Anatolia and grew up in an area called Niksar, and I grew up in a kind of traditional Anatolian town setting. So that's been one of my thoughts, what exactly happens in regional areas. And then I had a future in my future life, let's say, after Turkey, was in New York, and there I lived very much in urban settings, whether it was in places like Manhattan or Chicago. I grew up in kind of very urban settings, and then partly in suburban settings, which in the United States accounts for most of the land mass, is suburban settings. So these two things have been kind of part of my work, try to resolve the local with the universal. Now, I came to Turkey in the late 90s with the goal of working on technology, and that was always one of my key things, is try to bring together architecture, technology, try to pull those two things together. And so I worked in the internet sector for many years, so that kind of informs my approach to architecture, technology. And we know that architecture and technology have had a very close relationship, especially in the modern period. Starting in the 60s, 70s, architects started using computers to design, and around about the 90s, these became very accessible and started to be implemented in architecture schools. I was at Columbia University in the early 90s, where there was a digital design laboratory, which is one of the first. So this kind of union of architecture and technology has kind of been with me since the beginning of my architectural education. Today, I live in Istanbul, Turkey. I work in a number of disciplines in architecture, design, and ecology, let's say. That's one of my newer pursuits. And part of my work at the GAD Academy has very much to do with this past. At the GAD Academy, GAD Academy, I present ideas in architectural theory from the modernist period, but also from the 21st century. I work on classes in technology and architecture. For example, the GAD Academy right now has classes in artificial intelligence and design. And also we're working on Web3, sort of NFT, metaverse, crypto issues vis-a-vis design here at the GAD Academy. So students coming to the GAD Academy will learn about not only latest developments in architectural theory, global developments, but also these latest developments in technology with a kind of hands-on approach, dictated by some of the newer software and design tools that architects use today, such as things from like Revit, but also other design-oriented tools like Rhino, Grasshopper. Scripting, programming is very important for architects. It informs another way of designing when you actually program design. So you'll learn some of that, but you'll put this in a kind of cultural context, and you'll put this in a kind of social context, which is, how is this technology allowing me to create design, and what is the nature of that design? The GAD Academy, really one of the key bits in a kind of postgraduate education for architecture, for architects and for architecture, is that in Turkey, it's one of the few places where you can get exposed to this global world of architectural ideas and theories, and connect your thoughts into that by learning both the practical aspects, but also some of the theoretical aspects and some of the historical aspects, which are the subjects I focus on. So that's why you should come to the GAD Academy. It's a bilingual education. Right now I'm speaking English, but you can have education in English and in part Turkish. So I'm Gökhan Karakuş, talking to you today about the GAD Academy, an opportunity for students or newly graduated students from architecture schools to advance their architectural knowledge in a practical office setting like GAD provides, but also with the theoretical and practical tools and ideas that we teach here. Thank you very much.